We looked at assessing the reporting quality of published qualitative evidence synthesis in the Cochrane Library. This was part of the QIMG convener group, and I'm presenting on their behalf. So declaration of interest, then this work and presentation was created in the absence of any commercial or financial relationships that could be construed as potential conflict of interest. All authors are members of the Cochrane Qualitative and Implementation Methods Group, and Professor Noyes is a member of the Cochrane Methods Executive and Editorial Board and an originator of the eMERGE reporting tool for meta-ethnography. Professor Noyes is an editor of the Cochrane Campbell Handbook for QES. So the background then, and I suppose the reason for carrying out this review. So over 10 years since the first qualitative evidence synthesis was published in the Cochrane Library, QES and mixed methods reviews have become increasingly common and influential in healthcare research and policy development. The quality of such reviews and the clarity with which they are reported is therefore of paramount importance. So we aimed to assess the reporting quality of published QES in the Cochrane Library. Of note, reporting quality is not the same as methodological quality, and there are different tools for reporting and assessing methodological limitations. If a review is well reported, it is much easier to subsequently assess methodological quality. So all the published QES and mixed methods reviews were identified from the Cochrane Library. A bespoke framework developed by key international experts was used to code the quality of reporting of QES and mixed methods reviews. The framework was developed based on the former effective practice and organisation of care, the EPOC template, meta-ethnography reporting guidance, and the enhancing transparency in reporting the synthesis of qualitative research. So these guidelines guided our framework development, as well as key international experts to agree the indicators included in our framework. So our search string then is identified here on the left, and our inclusion criteria were any qualitative evidence synthesis or mixed methods reviews included in the Cochrane Library from 2013 to 2023. So there was 219 records identified from the Cochrane Library. All 219 were screened by two authors, the titles and abstracts, and then 42 full texts were screened by two authors again, and then we included 32 reviews were included in the analysis. Of these, 11 were mixed method synthesis. So our framework then included 15 domains, and in total 37 indicators. These included indicators in relation to the title, the context, the question and objectives, and all of this is a reporting of all of these, the type of QES and included studies that was reported accurately, their reporting of screening, synthesis, their findings, and for QESs that are integrated with an intervention effect review, that the method used was appropriately applied. And then also domains included quality appraisal, confidence in the review findings, reflexivity, the reporting of limitations, the overall quality subjectively rated by the authors, and review funding, and the reporting of patient and public stakeholder involvement. So we're presenting today draft results of this review, and 32 reviews were identified, including 11 mixed method synthesis. The quality of the QES and mixed method reviews published by Cochrane varied considerably. Based on the criteria within our framework, a quarter of the reviews were rated as being good quality, achieving at least 80% compliance with our framework. 18 needed, or 25 or 56% needed clarity or detail in the further clarity or detail in the reporting, and 6 were rated as being less than 65% compliant with our framework. So this is a presentation of the compliance of each individual review with our framework, and as you can see there was 8 again were rated as between 80 and 86% compliance with our framework. And of these, 1 was from 2019, 2 were from 2020, 2 were from 2021, 1 was from 2022, and 2 were from 2023. So these were the later years where the guidance was available to them. The 6 that were rated less than 65% compliant with our framework, 3 of those were from 2013. However, there was also 1 from 2019, 1 from 2020, and 1 from 2021. So then in relation to percentage of reviews compliance with indicators relating to title, context, questions and objectives, the reviews were very good at reporting clear objectives, rationales for undertaking the review and citing theoretical frameworks. Most reviews included QES in their title or the equivalent of it being a mixed methods or realist, and reflected their main objectives within their study, reporting of their study or their review. The evidence of question formulation or the use of specific question being identified did not meet the standards of our framework. So the types of QES methods used then. So most popular QES methods used were thematic analysis, 44%, and framework synthesis, 28%. And then most reviews identified the QES method used and types of studies included in their reviews. Just over half of the reviews attempted to use non-English language studies, and of those, most identified how translation was carried out. So in relation to the percentage of review compliance of screening and synthesis, it was mainly excellent in relation to the screening and synthesis, their reporting of that. However, specifying what data was extracted and included in their findings was not clearly identified. It could have been clearer or more detailed, and inclusion of quotations from their reviews that they included wasn't very well reported either. So in relation to the quality appraisal frameworks that were used, most reported using CASP, or they identified using some formulation of CASP as their baseline for their quality appraisal frameworks. So 11 used CASP altogether. And in relation to quality appraisal, reflexivity, limitations and funding and PPI reporting, quality appraisal was reported very well, as was evidence of conduct or conflicts of interest, and statement of a funding or funding statements were also included. However, reflexivity and limitations and reporting of PPI involvement mainly did not comply with our framework. So in relation to this, a summary of all of our findings, the good QES reporting guidance and practice has evolved over the last 10 years, and findings need to take this into account. Our findings highlight gaps in the quality of the Cochrane Qualitative Evidence Synthesis. The need for further reporting guidance tailored for these types of reviews is required, and only a quarter of the 32, so 8 of the Cochrane reviews demonstrated good reporting quality. Most of the remainder required more detail or clarity, particularly regarding reporting of equity perspective, question formulation, reflexivity statements, funding and stakeholder involvement. Very few of the reviews reported specific research questions, and few showed clear evidence of using a question formulation framework. Many of the reviews would have benefited from more complete reporting of findings of the full synthesis, particularly the inclusion of interpretation and of verbatim text extracts to support the themes identified. Reporting of summarized grade circle findings have often in recent times been given greater prominence than reporting the findings from the full synthesis using a specific synthesis method. The variability in reporting quality serves as a compelling reminder of the imperative to develop PRISMA-associated reporting guidance specifically designed for QES.